Hi there, Tim Bauer here from LiveVideoGuitarLessons.com with the practice tip of the day. This one's for the beginning player, and today I want to cover a few tricks on how to place your G chord properly. There's no getting around it. G chord is probably the most common chord on guitar. You have to learn it. You can't avoid it, so might as well learn it now. And I want to make sure in this video, I want to explain why you see people doing it different ways. Sometimes you see people doing it this way with 4 fingers. Sometimes you do it this way with 3 fingers. Sometimes people are doing it with these 3 fingers. Sometimes they're doing it with bars. Sometimes they're, A-form bar chord over here. So a little bit of quick theory. A G chord is a G note and a B note and a D note. If there's anything else in there, then it's a G something else. All major chords are 1, 3, and 5 of the major scale of their root note. So for G, I don't want to give you a headache or anything, but for G, that's G is 1, and B is the 3rd note of that scale, and D is the 5th note. So anyway, G chord, most of the time when you see people play in G now, you'll see it with 4 fingers. Most of the time when you see it on charts, depending on when, if you're in a book or something, depending on when it was published, you'll see it done with 3 fingers. You'll see it drawn that way a lot. And if you're looking in a really old book, like from the 60s, you'll see it done with these 3 fingers. I don't know if you can see that. And the reason for this way, this and this are exactly the same thing, note-wise. The reason the older books tend to do it this way, and the older players, if your grandfather's playing, he probably does it this way. The reason is, in the 50s and 60s and probably back to the 40s, songs tended to change from G to C a lot. And this is much closer to go from this kind of G to this kind of C, because you're already shaped, pretty close to the right way. Since about the early 1980s, songs have tended to go to, or maybe late 70s, the songwriting went into a new cycle, and now we tend to change from G to D a lot. Songs go to G to D. So people who learned how to play since about 1980 or so play it this way. And in the early 80s, a lot of the heavy metal bands and others, but they started changing, messing around with it, and doing the 4-finger version of it. That's why most of the time you see people play now, they're doing this. And that's the one we're going to focus on today. Alright, so let's just jump in. The main thing that gives people trouble when they're playing this chord is they'll put this up there, and these knuckles will pop down on them, like that. Actually, a lot of your knuckles could pop down. And what's going on there, anytime you want all your knuckles bent all the time. So anytime your knuckles are popping down, I'm trying to get this where you can see it. Anytime they're popping down on you like that, that means you're trying to squeeze like a fist, instead of into your thumb and into the guitar. You want all your fingers bent all the time on these chords, unless you're doing a bar chord or something that's a little bit different. But you want all your fingers bent here. Alright, so let's just start with the biggest problem finger, other than the knuckles breaking down in this chord, is our 1st finger. So we want to start with that one and put it in there. And we want to get it in there. And we want our thumb in the middle of the back of the neck, like you're supposed to play. I know you see people playing with the thumbs thrown over the tops all the time. That's fine after you learn how to play, but while you're learning how to play, put your thumb in the right place. It'll save you a lot of work and a lot of frustration. Alright, so make sure that you can get your 1st finger on the B note here on the 5th string, 2nd fret, and make sure you can hear that one and the open 4th string ring at the same time. Make sure you're not leaning it over and muting out that 4th string. Make sure you can hear that. And once you do that, throw this one over there. And that's the root note, by the way, on the 6th string there. That's the most important note. Make sure you can hear that one. Keep everything up toward the front part of the fret, so you don't have to push so hard. If you play back here, you have to push really hard to get a lot of buzzing. So throw it up there. And then try to get those 3 ringing, okay? And then the next string's going to be fine. The next string is G, so there's nothing going to hit that. And once you have those, carefully work your 3rd finger onto the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, that D note there, and try not to change the angle of what you have playing correctly here, and get those ringing okay. sure everything's ringing simultaneously. And then lastly, we add our little finger. You have to kind of tuck it up underneath your third finger and catch that on the first string, and then we get all 6 of them ring properly. I can hear that I'm a little out of tune. I probably should have tuned up before I started. But anyway, so you'll have to do that a little bit. You know, after you've done it 10 times, you'll be better at it than the first 2 times, and after you've done it 20, 30, 40, 50 times, you'll be much faster at it. And pretty soon, you just get where you can just kind of pop it in there, you know, without having to think about it much. You kind of pop around your chords, and by the way, even though we built it, you know, to fix problems, you know, just then, you can't always build it. It's just in the beginning, just to get used to it, just to get it to ring clearly. You have to put all your fingers down on all chords. You have to put them all down at the same time. So, you know, that's the next step, and I'll be doing another video on that. But so anyway, hopefully that helps. Thanks for tuning in. Tune in again tomorrow for another practice tip, and I will see you then. Thanks. Bye.